Hi, my name is Grethy, and I would like to tell you how I bravely fought a scary monster in a big, empty, dark house. But first, I have to explain something to you. You know, I'm afraid of the dark. I'm not sure why. Maybe when I was a little girl, I saw something scary on TV, and my imagination did the rest. It's not the most important thing in my life, but it still has a lot of influence over me. When I was little, I closed the door to my bedroom every night in order to keep the monsters out while I was sleeping. I checked my closet to make sure there was absolutely nobody there, and while I was in bed, I would curl up so tight under my blanket to make sure that no monster could grab my leg. Sometimes I would gather up the courage to take my dad's golf club and poke around under my bed. Thankfully, I never found any monsters under there, otherwise they would have been dead. And of course, I never switched off my nightlight. Now I'm all grown up and I can do without those complicated rituals. I do still keep my nightlight on, but no more of that childish ridiculousness. I know that there's nobody in my bedroom. But as soon as I'm left in plain darkness, my room fills with strange creatures. I see their profiles at the door. I see their paws sticking out from behind the curtains. I feel somebody looking at me through the closet door. I'm not even mentioning the tentacles that surround my bed like a giant octopus entwining a ship. I know that it's impossible for anyone to be there, but I'd swear they are. I don't go hiking and camp out overnight or sleep over at my friends' houses because of my phobia. They would probably not laugh at me if I started shrieking from fear or trembling all night from panicking, but personally, I don't want to find out. I even visited her school psychologist, but all she could tell me was to not watch horror movies, to stop playing scary video games, and to quit reading scary books. But I don't like this stuff anyway. Also, she advised me to try to be around more positive people, but my friends are all cool and happy, and the teachers at school are also nice. Most of them, anyways. She also advised me to take a walk more often and to exercise. Well, I combined those and started jogging, not in the morning, but at dusk. I never saw any monsters jumping out from the dark, but I barely escaped getting bitten by a stray dog, and gave up jogging as well as visiting psychologists. In general, my fears didn't really mean much in my life, and I decided to concentrate on not feeding them. I focused on keeping my imagination in check and never letting it play games with me again. But who would have guessed that sometimes, in the dark, you could meet a real monster? The story that I would like to tell you happened on a cold and windy evening in the middle of fall. I rarely stayed home alone, but at this time my parents were away for a romantic weekend to celebrate their wedding anniversary. I tried to get 3 of my girlfriends to sleep over, but all of them had different reasons for saying no. I made myself a couple of hot sandwiches, and while thinking dramatically that I didn't have friends anymore, I found myself a movie to watch. A person doesn't need a psychologist's advice to refrain from watching horror movies when it's dark outside and a cold fall wind is howling. Of course I chose a romantic comedy. What could go wrong? At the very moment when John was about to tell Mary how he felt about her, the power went off. Completely. I quickly finished my sandwich like someone was about to take it from me and curled up on the sofa. I told myself, it's just a bad storm, Grethy. Wind has brought the power lines down. All you have to do is wait for a little while. Everything will be okay, soon. And I really started to calm down. Yes, it was dark outside, and my imagination had already made up some scary stories, but it was all not real. What I should have done is just washed my plate and gone to bed. But then I heard some strange sound coming from the backyard, as if the door was opening slowly, and then slammed from the wind. This was real. I froze. My knees were shaking, and I closed my mouth with my hand, trying to silently understand what was going on. I was not hallucinating. I heard something inhuman quietly sneaking into my house. I heard its claws scratching on the floor. Then something rustled and fell down. It seemed that this thing was looking for something. For somebody? For me? I tried not to panic, and moving quietly, I searched for my phone to switch on the light and maybe to call someone for help. But I totally forgot where I had left it, and the sounds were getting closer. Now they were coming from the kitchen. I did not have time to think. I had to either hide or act, and I decided to be brave. My hands were trembling, but I took something that felt like a heavy candelabra and prepared to fight for my life. As I entered the kitchen, I heard some quiet but absolutely predatory sounds. But I could not see a thing. As I was about to shout, "Who's there?" the electricity came back on, and I was face to face with the scariest monster I could imagine. There was a raccoon directly in front of me. It looked at me with big, sad eyes and continued to chew on a cookie it was holding with its small, black hands. I don't even remember it eventually disappearing because I was laughing hysterically. Well, wouldn't you think I'd have gotten rid of my fear after this incident? Unfortunately, no. But whenever my monsters start to get too bold, I remind myself how I drove away the worst of them with my uncontrollable laugh. Have you ever faced your nightmare monsters in real life? Share your stories in the comments. Sign up for the channel and do not forget that facing your fears can sometimes turn into so much fun.